He started hitting the stage in Winnipeg in 1977, doing open mic nights, and now he shares the stage with some of the biggest names in comedy. He's performed across North America in some of the biggest venues like LA's Comedy Store and festivals, including Montreal's Just for Laughs Comedy Festival. Please welcome to the show your headliner for Friday night's Timmins Comedy Festival show at the Porcupine Dante Club, Kenny Robinson. Thank you so much for joining me.
Good morning. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. We've nicknamed this little area here our Comedy Cozy Corner.
Okay, well, it is very cozy.
Mm-hmm.
Just turn the fireplace on and
warm it up a little bit.
And we're going there.
So, Kenny, you've been doing comedy now for 49 years. Can you believe it? Does it feel like 49 years have gone by since you first jumped on a stage?
I wouldn't have known it was 49 years if you didn't tell me. I just, sometimes I try to do the math, but I don't like to think of it 49 years because I'm going, well, yeah, I want to be an overnight sensation. Yeah. So we're still waiting for the clock to turn.
So what keeps you coming back to comedy?
I still keep hoping for that one big hit. The dream's gonna happen. So it's what I've dedicated my life to. It is what it is. If I was a lawyer, or that would have been that it, or whatever else. It's I guess I was just born to do it.
Yeah. All right. So you've been
divorces. That'll help you do it too.
You say you're waiting for the big hit, but you are commonly referred to as the godfather of Canadian comedy. And while off the stage, you can be found mentoring the future Canadian comedians. When it comes to being a mentor, what are some of the things you're looking for in someone? And what are some of the common bad habits you see fresh comedians bring into the stage?
Oh, geez, I could talk about that for 2 hours. I always look for intelligence and passion and desire. Those are the things I think are the most important, because everybody wants to do it, but nobody's really aware of how much work it takes to do it. Yeah. So, I also emphasize to all the young comics I talk to or work with, reading, have some knowledge about things, have something to talk about, know what's going on in the world. So, because sometimes you'll have writer's block, and all you have to do is open a newspaper or turn on your screen, and there's material just sitting there waiting for you to grab it and do something with it. So writing's the one thing I always encourage them to do, because you'll never have enough material. You never know. If somebody said, right now, give me 10 minutes and you're on a TV show, do you have that 10 minutes? And it's got to be a clean 10 minutes. It can't be, well, they can bleep it. No, they can't. It costs more money to bleep you than it does to hire somebody else. So these are things that you don't know until you step in it.
Yeah.
So I like to warn them when I can. And bad things, is having a lack of professionalism. Were you in the alley with a couple of the other comics before you went on, and you walk in and everybody could smell what you were doing? Well, do as much of that as you want after the gig. If you wouldn't want your pilot on a plane smelling like weed when you got on.
So I guess it all depends on what you're into, right?
Well, yeah, but it's just, it is a business. It is a profession, and you have to treat it. It's not a party. It's not a frat house. You're not making your friends laugh. You're making the people that paid for a babysitter and paid for parking. And, comedy's become very expensive. Easily somebody can dish out $100, going to a comedy club in Toronto, say, you can drop $100 before you've heard the MC say good evening. So I think you gotta come with the goods. You gotta be professional. Gotta come right off the bat.
Yeah. All right. So 21 years ago, and I'm worried I'm going to be mispronouncing this here, but 21 years ago, you founded the Nubian Disciples Comedy Review.
31 years ago.
31 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it's 31 years. And what's great is we, on Crave Television, there's a comedy special called POC, People of Comedy. And we've been nominated for a Canadian Screen Award for Best Comedy Special. So we'll be finding out if we win that one at the end of May. So very excited about that and looking forward to that. And just, but yeah, I mean, the Nubian show's been great. I've had everybody on. I mean, Russell Peters started out with us. My son kills me. My son goes, have you ever heard of a comedian named Kevin Hart? And I said, go in the garage, look in the boxes that say receipts, and you'll see 2 or 3 signatures for me paying him $150. when he used to drive up from Philadelphia, and he was known as Little Kev back then. Mike Epps has done shows back when they used to do a lot of films in Toronto. A lot of the actors slash comics that were in town would come and do our show. So we've been lucky over the years. I had a TV show called After Hours in 2001, and Leslie Jones, who's been on SNL and later on when did Ghostbusters, it was her first time doing sketch TV that we had her in a couple of skets. So I've rubbed shoulders with some of the biggest, and we've been cranking out some of the finest comics in the Canadian comedy scene for 30 years. I'm quite proud of it.
Yeah. So, what drove you to form the organization, and what kind of impacts has it had on
Well,
some of the up and coming comedians?
Well, it started out because at the time there were maybe only 4 or 5 comics of color in the entire country, going from Halifax to Vancouver. So I met a bunch of young comics that the doors were closed to them, and Mark Breslin said, "Well, would you be interested in doing a show like Def Jam?" And I already had done a couple of shows like that, so I already had an idea of how I wanted to do it. And I said, "Sure." So our first show, we turned away 200 people. So it was an instant box office smash. So the first 3 or 4 years, we were sold out for the next, because we do it the last Sunday of the month. The box office would be closed Monday, but the show for the next one would be sold out by the Tuesday. So now it's harder, and a lot of the comics that I help mentor are now producing their own shows and going up against me. So competing for that small shrinking showbiz dollar. But it's been great. I think I've sacrificed my own career to some extent for it. But this is a legacy. This is something else that's bigger than me, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. How does it feel to see like these comedians that you were there helping mentor
I hate them.
almost eclipse you?
I hate them. You know, it's no. Joe DiMaggio didn't want to give up center field to Mickey Mantle. He didn't want to have to move over. No, I'm very proud of them all. Because the whole idea was to take it to the next level. To make things easier for the next generation. And but the best thing is knowing that I helped comics recognize and realize their potential.
Yeah.
So you're very funny, but you know what? Do this, and you could be funnier. Do this. If you want to get this is how you have to approach them. So that I guess that's had its own reward.
Now, when it comes to coaching comedians, what is the importance of the pause, the moment after the break? How important is it that a comedian allow a joke to breathe?
Well, yeah, it's all in your timing, and you're cheating yourself if you don't pause and let the audience have their laugh. So often you just want to get it in like a street fight, boom, 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 boom. But perfect example that I learned over the years. A couple of years ago, I did a 5-city tour with Russell Peters. So I'm standing in hockey arenas,
Yeah.
and it's like the smallest crowd was 4,500 in Winnipeg, and so you learn to deliver the joke, and then it's going to make its way to the top seats. So wait, then hear that laughter, and then wait for it to die down, and then boom, deliver the next one, and just let it float up to the. So doing the Air Canada Center was the greatest. I think it was like 16,000 people there. So he says I may never get to do this again. So I savored every moment of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to chew that steak slowly and taste it, as opposed to just chew it 3 times and swallow. So definitely chew your food.
So, as humanity delves deeper into the age of AI, where more and more people are now beginning to struggle with knowing what's real and what isn't, have you noticed this has had an impact on live performances from music to theater to even stand up comedy, where people are now seeking out that undeniable live experience?
I don't think it's really had that much of an effect yet. I enjoy AI. To me, it's like watching cartoons, and people will go, "That's AI." I go, "Yeah, I know, but why ruin it for me?"
Yeah.
Perfect example. They'll have somebody like a George Carlin. They've got him saying something along certain lines, and I'm going, "Carlin never said that. Carlin's dead. And this is just something that somebody created to take care of their own agenda.
Yeah.
But then I saw something else that there was a comic, and he had celebrities endorsing him, and I went, "Wow, I gotta have that." And it was like, um, he did take off. There's a Nat King Cole. You are cheating yourselves if you don't hire this boy to entertain your crowds. And I'm going, "Wow." Why don't I get like Jimmy Cagney to do that? And then they stopped. I guess the law caught up with him and they put a stop to that. But I just thought, wouldn't that be great to like pull out, we could have Wolfman Jack, introducing you on your tape and what have you. So, but sometimes you don't know if it's AI or not. But I love AI. I love cats that smoke and drive cars and pull out a gun and shoot. Um, I'm always amazed when the a shark jumps onto the boat and eats somebody or starts to chew somebody, then they get out or the dog rescues them. So I don't take it all too serious. But then other times you don't know what is real and what isn't real.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the danger is when you've got political people telling you certain things, So we'll learn unless you're really thick in the skull. I don't think it's too hard to figure out what is the real deal.
All right. Humphrey Bogart. From what I understand, your comedy started off early in the day with
Oh,
a Humphrey Bogart impersonation.
well,
So,
it was great when I got to the hotel yesterday. I turned on the TV, and Key Largo with Bogart and Edward G. Robinson was on. I go, I've never seen this show on in the afternoon. But yeah, I was basically the class clown, and I would do Bogart impressions and Edward G. Robinson. Uh, all the old Warner Brothers. So I started out doing impressions, but I only had maybe like a half a dozen people I could do. So I ran out of that. So then I started writing material. But to this day, I mean, I used to love as a kid watching George Kirby or Rich Little or Frank Gorshin, because he was also the Riddler on Batman. But like Gorshin would do Kirk Douglas, I need a broad, So you pick up these things, and I loved all those old movies. So anybody that could do the voices, um, like in the Cincinnati Kid, when Everett G. Robinson, when Yancey beats Steve McQueen, you're good, kid, but as long as I'm around, you're always second best. So that's what a great thing to say to anybody that cheats you.
yeah.
Or if some guy's trying to hit on your girl and you leave with her, you look over at him, you can drop that. And if they know the movie, it's great. And if they don't move, then what do you say? What do you say? So, it's, yes, I started off loving that. But I mean, I went to a Bogart Film Festival where they showed 3 Bogart movies in an afternoon. So I walked out, and back then, if you wanted to, I used to get tape. I had a tape recorder, and I put it in front of a TV, and I tried to tape the movies from it. So, I remember sneaking a tape recorder into a movie theater that was showing Easy Rider and The Wild Ones with Brandel. So I was trying to learn how to do the Brandel voice because The Godfather is easy enough to do because that was recent. But I was just a youngster and just hadn't really seen On the Waterfront or any of those old ones. So now you can just turn on your TV or turn on your phone and switch to anybody's voice you want to hear and just work on it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a lot of work to be a good impressionist.
All right. And clearly, we need to add to your wiki the godfather of pirating movies at a theater, too.
Oh yeah, it was. In fact, now they tell you no outside food. I used to always bring food to the outside. One time at a midnight showing of Dawn of the Dead, I brought a bucket of KFC, and my girlfriend and I would just toss the bones into the next row as we finished it. So nothing scarier than seeing bones fly at a vampire movie. They're not vampires. They're zombies. Yes, at a
Yeah.
zombie
Yeah.
film.
Yeah.
So.
So, when it comes to doing impressions in comedy, do you still feel like there's room on the stage for someone to come up and do impersonations, or has it become kind of just drawn out over
Well,
the
it
years?
became kind of hack when everybody's doing Jack Nicholson in the 80s. Uh, and then you had the comics, and it would go something like this. And they figured if they spun around, you didn't know it was still them. But, I'll still drop one in, but I won't go, here it is. Like during the Clinton years, there's a rap song. I'm not a player, I just crush a lot. So that was a great line.
Yeah.
I'm not a player, I just crush a lot. So I was able to drop the Clinton in with that line. So it combined hip hop with a president that was catching Monica Lewinsky on her way out. So
Yeah.
so that was great doing that.
Do you ever find there's like certain trigger phrases you need? Like for Clinton, I always find, easy there, peaches and cream. All right, come on down there. Calm down there, Hillary.
Oh yeah, I feel your pain. Uh, yeah, it was like during 9/11, it was tragic. But Clinton was down at the site, and he's, we'll find him. We'll try to find the person that you love, as he's hugging him and all that. So I mean, Clinton was, such a great voice to do and what have you. I wish I took the time to learn how to do Trump, because I despise the man.
Yeah.
And so if
some people make that one look so easy to do, but it is a complicated.
Well, it is easy. I'm just lazy and haven't bothered to do it. I never learned to do Obama, and that would have been fun to do. So it's because for the most part I've left the impressions behind, and it's something. It's something like having a condom in your wallet. You forget you got it. And then, you'll be looking for your frequent flyer mile, and you go, oh, here's this. And you go, it's still good. And, and you use it, and then that's it.
Yeah. So as we wrap up and get near the end of
already,
did
I do something wrong?
Oh, no. It's just
me out of here quick.
You get a couple of guys who are time blind. We think we've been talking 5 minutes. I'm sure about 25 have already gone by or so, because that's usually how it works.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else going on that you want to talk about?
Doing auditions for films. I may be working. There's a boxer out of Toronto for years, Spider Jones. I'm working on a TV series script with him. We just had meetings and negotiating with that. So still doing that. And I've got, where am I tonight, Rick?
Tonight you're in Niagara Falls.
Okay, I'll be there. And then tomorrow night, the big show here.
Yes.
So looking forward to it all.
All right. Well, Kenny, before you go, my last question for you. This one is a sophisticated yet simple question. What's something you're really, really grateful for, and what's something you're really looking forward to?
Oh, they're both the same answers. I'm grateful for every day above ground, and I keep looking forward to the next day above ground.
All right, Kenny Robinson, you're going to catch him here live in Timmins tomorrow night, Friday night at the Porcupine Dante Club. The doors are at 6. Dinner is at 7. And if you haven't gotten yourself tickets yet, I always say the easiest way, get on Google, type in the Timmins Comedy Festival. It's going to take you where you need to be. Kenny Robinson, thank you so much for being here
Looking
today.
forward to seeing everybody. Bring your mom, bring your pa.